Rev up your engines!
Darkston FTM Live says, Scotty, my wife put diesel in her gas 2016 Honda Fit. The fuel system's been flushed. Is there anything should I look for in the future? Diesel fuel, it's slimy. It's actually a decent lubricant. When I was younger, guys used to put like a gallon of diesel fuel in their big tank to help clean the engine out. They'd run a little weird, but it actually cleaned it out quite well. You would never do that on a modern engine. But that said, it's a lower quality fuel. If you flush it all out, it's not really going to do any damage to that Honda. Conversely, if you ever put gasoline in a diesel engine and tried to start it, you might just blow the engine up because there's too much pressure. The gasoline will blow up too early and the piston rods can bend and stuff and the heads can even blow up. You never want to put gas in a diesel engine, but vice versa, quick flush it out. I've had people do that, and in the long run, there wasn't any serious damage done. Greg says, Scotty, my 2008 VW GTI has lost some of its acceleration. They lose acceleration. There's many places you can lose it. Start with the simple things. Pull out the air filter. You wouldn't believe how many times I got customers, sometimes I even tow them because they're running so bad. I take the air filter housing out. The only thing wrong is the air filter's so clogged up it hardly breathes it off. Then check the spark plugs. If they're worn out, replace them. Then change the fuel filter if you never had. They can get clogged up. You hope it's one of those things because from there on it gets complex. Could be the fuel injectors are dirty. Could be they're worn out. Could be something like a MAF sensor's going bad. But that kind of stuff you need to pay a mechanic to analyze it rather than guess. We have equipment that can do all kinds of analysis and years of experience of knowing what data means what. Spicoli says, hey Scott, I got a 2002 Honda Civic with over 135,000 miles. Any advice on oil leakage near the head gasket? Okay, you're saying near the head gasket. First thing I'd do would be I'd just take off the valve cover gasket, put a new one on. That's simple, very easy to do. Maybe the leak will stop. Now, if it doesn't, and it's actually leaking out of the head gasket, if it runs okay, personally, I'd live with it because that's leaking externally. And if you lose a little oil, just keep adding it in. Now, if it's leaking internally and it'll start running poorly, then you got to take the whole engine apart and replace the head gasket. But I've had customers with head gaskets that leaked only externally like that, oil. And they drove them for 5-10 years and they still ran okay. So as long as you keep adding the oil, it's not going to hurt anything. WTF100X says, hey Scotty, if I fill my gas tank with fuel injector cleaner instead of gas, will it still drive? Well, it's not a good idea to try that for any length of time. But we mechanics clean fuel injectors in kind of a similar way. But what we do is we turn the fuel pump off, take the fuse out, and we have a pressure machine. And it comes with a canister. We fill the canister with a fuel injector cleaner. Then, with our pressure machine, we hook that up to the fuel rail. So that's the only thing that's supplying fuel to the engine. Now, we don't drive the car around. That's not a good idea. We just let it idle, sitting there. And then it runs on 100% cleaner, and we know what cleaners to use. And it does clean them out quite well because you got 100% cleaner running through. But the car isn't being driven. It's not a good idea to drive it regular there. You just have to let it clean. And since those canisters, they're only going to run the car for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, it's a limited period of time that you're actually running it with just cleaner. And you got to make sure you're using the right cleaner, too. Keith Ransom says, I got an 02 Trailblazer. Keeps surging. Please help. Okay, the first thing I'd do in that, because it's notorious, change the fuel filter. It could be clogged. And if that doesn't fix it, then put a fuel pressure gauge there and see what the fuel pump pressure is, because as old as that thing is, it's 18 years old. The fuel pumps go out on those things. And you pressure test it, see it's low pressure, you know it's the fuel pump. And then you pray it's not something more complex. Because a lot of times it's just the fuel pump going out. And if you do replace it, use an OEM pump. Don't buy one of those cheap Chinese knockoffs that may not work at all. EdCold54 says, where's Scotty? Did those CarMax hitmen get him? No, they didn't get me. You know, it is a large corporation that does a lot of money, and that's why I made that video. Why not to buy a car from CarMax unless you don't care about the price? Let's face it, you buy a used car. Why? To save money. They have so much extra money for the used cars, you might as well go out and buy a new one rather than buy one of theirs. It's only common sense. Why would you buy a used car when you're hardly saving any money at all? Why would you spend all that money? Used cars to save money. And not save money, there's no point in buying one. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.